Um, I wanted to start with a couple of things, more housekeeping, like Erin said, to talk about the contest for this book, so everybody knows what to be prepared for and what to anticipate. Um, Erin already won the Horror Hound for the raffle for the quiz, and the item is on its way. So she should be getting that any moment now. Um, I've been practicing Orania. Did I say it right?
Close.
Close. Where am I? So you like
um,
Udi with a D, like Udi?
yes.
Okay, Udi. We'll go with Udi. I'm playing it on Google and like trying to learn it. I'm going to master it because it's so.
Yeah. You were very, very close.
There's a little
So
tongue roll with it.
you could even it's ura like Rania
Urani, Urania.
is Urania. So there you go.
Yeah, it's
So
so
you just
pretty.
it's more of an A sound than the O sound. So you were almost there.
Oh, well, thank you. You're a rookie. So you attended every meeting and you're our newest member and you've been so awesome. Your presence and contributions and input have been amazing. So you will get some fun book
Oh,
related
cool.
goodies sent to you or dropped off to you. I think we're far away. Are you in Ohio?
No, I'm all the way in California.
Oh my God, that's so freaking cool. We're all in Ohio.
That's cool.
I'm so jealous. So I will be mailing them to you. So
Okay,
after this,
cool.
you'll just want to inbox me your address so I can send them on their way.
Okay.
So we're so excited about that. And
Thank
then
you.
we'll have our best attendance raffle. And the eligible people are Jameson, Stephanie, Jessica, and Udi. Udi. And then we'll have an MVP, which is our most valuable person that contributed and made this book super special. So, and that'll be nominated in a post in our book club after the meeting. Okay. And now we can get into the good stuff. Um, So there were three questions contributed by Stephanie and a fourth one that I caught right before I logged in. So I wanted to start with yours. So thank you so much for the amazing questions and the submissions. It's so appreciated. But sometimes I feel like what I'm wondering can't be the same as what you guys are wondering. Erin always has is like way over here, and I'm like here, and so like it really is fun to bounce those ideas off of each other. So Stephanie is curious if people think they could handle all the carnage that Jade saw at the end of the book. Like she was, it's like I felt like she had desensitized herself a little bit. So it was a little easier for her to roll with it than it would be the average person. But like she even said, corn syrup is totally different than like real lives and blood. So we will start with you, Stephanie, and then we'll go around that way.
So I don't think I could, honestly. That's just too much. And I mean, she was just going through it, but if you're in survival mode, you're gonna be able to handle more because you're just gonna be compartmentalize it and just get through it. So maybe we could handle it. We
This
just
way.
don't think we could. Because I've been in some tough situations with like my mom having medical issues and stuff, and I had to compartmentalize it until I got to a place where I could actually let the feelings hit me. So I think that I might be able to handle it if I could compartmentalize it.
They say you don't know till you know.
Hmm.
Um, although trying to wrap my mind even around it in the book was very difficult. So just reading it, I was like, wow. Okay, how about you, Udi? What did you think of it?
I could maybe handle one thing, but not multiple like that because I've been in fight or flight situations before like that, and it's chaotic as it is. Uh, but no, I wouldn't be able to handle it. Maybe one. I don't know how she was able to do everything the way she was able to do it.
I have no idea either. I really, really don't. Um, Jessica, how did you? What did you feel as you were reading it? And then, do you think, like in that situation, is it a possibility that you could handle it?
Um, I would love to say yes, but I mean, I can't squish bugs because I don't like the crunch, and I can't look at them drawing my blood because it bugs me. So I I don't think I'd be able to handle that. But then again, like Stephanie was saying, you get into survival mode. So maybe like just if I was in enough shock, and I think it would also depend too, like who are you defending? Like if it was my kids, probably I'd at least try. But yeah, I am not made for gore. I have no problem reading it, but I'm like even like watching horror movies, I'm like covering my face every time there's blood on the screen.
Oh, that's adorable. Um, you seem so strong. Can't imagine you like peeking out. How about you, Jameson? Do you feel like, and I know you have a diverse background in horror, it's like a genre that you love. So do you think with that destimulation, I think that we have when we love that sort of thing, do you think you'd be able to handle it more? Or do you think you would just be like, this is just too much?
I think I spent my whole life going, why are you doing that? Like, just do this thing. And I don't think it ever occurred to me to be like, it always occurs to me, what would I do? Not could I handle it? Like, I think you don't know until you're in a situation. I'm pretty good in an emergency. That's is weirdly like maybe it's the ADHD. Like I get very calm when things are chaotic, but I don't know. I mean, my fight or flight is fight. So I want to say yes, but I might just back into a corner and cry. I don't know.
Right, right. How about you, Aaron? I saw your face. Uh-oh, you muted.
Did you say Aaron?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, I couldn't. There was a point, even just reading it, I always started to like feel that like gaggy reflex, you know? I can't. I have the world's most sensitive stomach. Anything. Burps, farts, dirty feet, I'm gagging. So no, I couldn't do it. Not at all.
As somebody who loves both the dark and the fine, pretty girly stuff, I like both. And I've been through, I feel like I've walked through hell, but I've never walked through death like that. So for me, I'm going to go with I would try. I can see myself fighting. I do feel like I kept feeling like that Courtney Cox scene in Scream where she's like, you know, like that classic no scream. Like that would have been me multiple times. Like finding out I have like guts on my hair, my head. I would have just been like full blown hysteric. I worked in healthcare for 20 years and I've seen everything. I even had a child vomit in my mouth once. I was saying, "Are you okay?" And then, but I don't, there was just so much, just so much. Although I do have a big sense of adrenaline. So there's a possibility that I could have hung on for like the first 5 deaths. But when I hit the water and there was guts on me, I mean, I'd be like, I got to tap out. We got to go. So, I mean, I needed to get to a shower immediately. So, Stephanie also asked, what do you think happened with the lake witch before she ended up coming back? Like, where did she go? There was her etiology story, which I followed really well. But the coming back, it is always the one. I see Jessica said he's the middle now. It's always the middle child. But anyway, what do you think happened between when she came back and when it started? Do you believe she's real? We need to unpack that. So let's start with Aaron.
If I don't know what I believe right now, but if I believe that she was real, I would have just thought she lay dormant. So then, the activities, because they say that happens with paranormal stuff. If you have a spirit in your house and you remodel your house, things can get active. So that could always have happened. Sorry. The other question, I don't even know if she's real because it almost, I mean, I had a theory that it could have just been Jade, like projecting herself as the Lake Witch, you know, using that as an excuse for all this like destructive killing spree that she went on. I don't know, because so many things confused me. Like, I don't even want to get off topic, but like, I don't know what happened with all these people. I don't know what happened with Letha's dad. Was he really a killer? Like, he killed Shooter Glasses. Shooter Glasses had nails sticking out of his back, but was still like helping people. Like, you know, I don't know. I have no idea. So I don't even know if the Lake Witch is a real entity that came back to kill all these people and get revenge for waking her up. I don't know.
If you were, so you're on the fence of whether she's real, which I totally understand. However, I find it very curious from you because last meeting, you were the only one that were like, I'm getting a supernatural vibe. So I thought once this popped up, you'd be like, oh yeah, I was right. I'm always right, you know. But if you were to suspend your disbelief and just go with it and say she's real, I think you made a really good point. You think maybe she was dormant and at peace until they started to disturb her land again.
Yeah, I do. That's what I would have thought. Like if I take all of my disbelief out of it, then yes, absolutely. Because I think didn't it say something like she went with her mom, like that's where she was. She like wrapped herself in her mom's arms and she was just laying in peace. And then these people came and disturbed her. And then that's when the first one happened. And then she got disturbed again. And then I don't really know. I can't remember all of the details of it, but that's what I think happened. Like she was disturbed, so she came out of her peaceful hiding place, like, you know, who's messing with my peace? I'm going to get you.
Very interesting. How about you, Jessica? Did you first start with, do you believe that she is real? Do you believe this is the thing that did this? And on top of that, and she can't rest. Yes, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. But do you feel like she was real? And then if she is in your mind, or you suspend your disbelief, where do you think happened between then and now? And you even put it in here as Jameson. Now you're next, Jameson. They're totally following along. Like
I was. Yeah, that's. Oh my gosh, it's been a long day. I don't know when it happened in the book. Something in my head was like, oh, well, you know, like being native and their beliefs and, you know, skinwalkers and wendigos and things like that. I was like, this kind of makes sense, but something about it still feels off. Like, I mean, she watched the she watched Letha's dad shoot at like, I mean, I don't think the Lake Witch killed Cody and drug him into the basement. Like, there's definitely also a slasher, but like, I mean, I think that my thing was, is this a thing she's imagining? Like, is this supernatural thing a thing that she is imagining? And I don't know. And I think like now I kind of want to go and read the other books in the trilogies because I want to know. But yeah, I still like, I think something was off with Letha's dad. I think it just something's not right.
well, like there's a certain point of shock that happens when you are just positioned to something like this. There's a possibility, a small one, that she kind of went into a state of delusion to kind of wrap her mind around the like enormity of all of the death. Then I thought, is she still stuck in that like cave? And so like, you know, when they say as you're dying, like as the oxygen is being removed from your brain, you start to hallucinate like really unusual, bizarre things. That was also because I was following along with the dad, and but then when the witch thing came, I was like, wait a minute, what about the grow in the tub? You know, like we thought that's not the witch. Did the witch put him in the tub? Like, you know, I was really confused. So that's really, it's interesting. I have to know. Like, I'm at some point going to have to get the other books, definitely. How How about you, Jessica?
So maybe I'm an outlier here, but I bought everything that the author was selling. I was like, yes, this is great because everyone gets to be right. So like Brust started the whole Lake Witch thing, that cycle, and then the Dutch couple perpetuated it. But then a bear did actually eat Deacon Samuels because we got introduced to the bear at the end, who's like psychotic, not just the mama bear, but the other bear. And then we definitely know Letha's dad was responsible for some of it. And so I was like, this is great. Everyone was right. It's wonderful. But do I guess it hadn't even occurred to me that she was making up parts of it in her head. I was just like sold on everything. It, and I feel like the late witch was totally justified. They had no business disturbing her repeatedly. So
It's fascinating, the way that everybody has absorbed it so differently. Um, I'm with Jameson. With I got the vibe of whoa, something's not right. Something's off. This feels very just different. It's like what was happening with the dad was so visceral and felt so real. And then with the witch stuff started happening, it felt like there were a lot of I'm gonna say this word wrong, I'm so sorry, like hyperbole, and a lot of metaphors and correlations between her life and the things that were happening, and like the bear with the mom, like the mom protected the bear and that's all she'd ever wanted with her. Things got real fuzzy, and that's kind of like what happens when your brain starts to lack oxygen. I don't know. Udi, what do you think? What are your opinions? So, if you do you believe she's real, and if you don't, if you just suspend your disbelief, what do you think's going on with her? I know you're on point with Aaron, like she couldn't rest.
Yeah, I really in with I know Jameson on this one. Wait, yeah. No, Jessica. The one that just, yeah, about how there's a bear and how you see it all go in line. And then what I said she can't rest is the witch couldn't rest because she couldn't go into the water because that's how she died. And they dragged her up from the water and she couldn't get back down to rest. So when anybody comes to the water, she's like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna get you guys now. So I think they're disturbing her peace. And they pulled her out of something to do with the housing where they filled the cement. That disturbed her, and that's why she came out and again, killed those people. So I'm thinking the lake witch is real, and just because of all the way it was explained and how the events lined up, that's where I'm going. And I'm hoping so because I did buy all the books.
um, yeah, I'm really, really curious. Stephanie, since this was your question, and I know you finished before all of us, I think, because you were like on it, like wanting to know, guys, help me make sense of this, please. And so I didn't want to put any spoilers in our chat, so I went to Reddit as well and then heard your feedback. So I'm really curious to hear where you are right now with it.
So I think like Jessica and Udi, I'm thinking the Lake Witch is real because when I read that part about the Lake Witch, my heart started pounding. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? But it still doesn't make sense why Letha's dad is killing people. So I don't know what, I mean, I think she is real, but I think there might be something else going on too. I don't know. Could she have cursed people to, you, to uh what is it called when you take over someone's body?
Possession.
Yeah, like a curse or something, or a curse.
I thought that he was after the three guys that he bought off. But that's a really good. Oh, I love your pendant. That is pretty.
Oh, thanks.
You always have such pretty joy. You're right. It could have been possession, and I didn't think about that. That's really interesting. impossible. There could be two totally different things going on here, and then it's a possibility.
Yeah. And I
Um,
think that she couldn't be at rest because, like what Udi was saying, she was pulled out from the water, and maybe she actually, when Jade put her in the water, maybe she finally can rest, or maybe something else happens now. I think there's something cursed about that place.
well, Lisa kept saying that yeah, I don't know. They kept thinking that she kept saying we shouldn't have been here. That she got a feeling from the moment that they got there. And maybe the dad's involvement, his illegal involvement that he had, or maybe his possession made her sense that. I don't know, but yeah, they dug up something bad, and then he paid shooting glasses and Cody and another person. Um, but I think I distinguish the difference in death. The Lake Witch did something to people's faces, their jawlines. I think she did that, and then he did, if he did, the others on his own accord if he wasn't possessed. Because that was like her signature thing, if that's what it is. Erin brought up an interesting point, and one of her questions was, do you think it's possible that Jade is the Lake Witch? Like, is it possible that she's the one that's doing all this, and she has to like make her brain, deal with it by making up this fiction thing? I'm just curious, just trying to make sense out of it and her viewpoint of it. Stephanie, do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, so I didn't have any thoughts about that before you guys started bringing up, maybe she could be the killer. It's really confusing because of all the stuff that the author's just throwing at us. So I, she could be the killer, or she could be possessed, or she could be the one that is the one dealing with the curse. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff up in the air right now for
Yeah,
me.
absolutely, absolutely. Udi, do you think it's possible that Jade could be the one, and that she's created this thing to kind of like be okay with doing these things?
I'm not entirely sure because I don't know if she would have been able to kill Mr. Holmes and or Sheriff Hardy because she cared for them. And yeah, I don't know about that. That's what's kind of stopping me from thinking that maybe she could be doing that, and that's why maybe the Lake Witch is real.
Go ahead, Erin. I see your hand.
Another thing I wanted to add to the question is, why do you think she ran away? Why do you think that she just didn't like? Because she mentioned something like, "Oh, Letha's probably over there in the tent getting assistance right now. There are people there helping them. Why don't you think that she went over there and just got help for her injuries?" I know she saw Tiffany on the shore recording her because she had just hit her dad with that board, right?
Right.
But like in the midst of all this, she said it a million times, like they'll just think it was another body, or even what I thought was they would understand that this is a chaotic situation and these people are going to be trying to defend themselves. So it was an accident, even if it was caught on camera. Maybe she was just scared, but like why do you think she didn't just go for help? Why do you think that she had to run away?
I I have an answer, my own answer to that, as somebody who is identifies as being like a black sheep. I swear to you, somebody could step on my toe, and somehow, some way, somebody's gonna make it my fault for being in the way. Like, I think her whole life, everything has always ended up being her fault, and her go-to instinct is they're gonna spin this, and I'm gonna get blamed, and I got to get out of here. That's how I would have felt. That's the only explanation I have for that. Also, she might feel guilt because she's been fantasizing about killing him for a really long time, about her dad. Um, so we would go to Jessica next about I'm totally off track here. Oh, about Jade. I saw you shake your head no when I asked. You don't think that she could be the Lake Witch, like be the one doing it.
I think that the only crime that Jade committed was getting caught killing her abuser on film. And I think that she ran because A, she didn't think she deserved to not run. And B, she was like, Tiffany caught me on camera. And the thing is all the things that she'd been saying to herself up to that point were great up until Tiffany caught her on camera saying to her dad. I mean, it was very obvious that she knew who she was hitting, she knew who she was killing, etc. So I think that she was absolutely certain she was going to get blamed for it, even if her dad deserved it. And I do think that she didn't feel like she deserved any help at the end.
That's very, I really think that anybody in the court of law, after the distress that she had been under and what she had been through in her childhood, what she said to him, I think could be dismissed for insanity, for the situation and everything. However, she's so young. I don't think she knows that. How about you, Jameson? Do you think that she could be the Lake Witch? Do you think she could be possessed, or do you think none of this is her?
I don't think she's the Lake Witch. I think I kind of agree. The only thing she did legally is she killed her dad. I don't know. I still think I just keep thinking those things, like two things can be true. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't think that Jade is the Lake Witch, but I'm not altogether certain. I just don't see her being able to rip someone's jaw off of their face. Like she doesn't seem like she has that strength. I mean, she couldn't even actually kill her dad when it came down to it. So I don't think it's her, but I guess I'm still on the fence as to whether or not she actually exists or not.
Okay, the cat's out of the bag. We got a cat. And he won't leave me alone. I'm sorry, guys. So this is Vetter. He's named after Eddie Vedder. It's Vetter Lemon Jake Rose, after my friend that just passed. And he once held like a baby all the time. Anyway, so if he's here, he's purring and crying. He was supposed to be a foster for the 4th of July. And because the shelter was full with dogs. And he kissed kisses. And he ended up staying. Anyway, okay, so he was supposed to be secret. I didn't even post on Facebook about him, so the cat's out of the bag. Totally. Okay, so this leads me to one of my questions, which is about the undertone of, we now know for sure that she was abused, right? Thank you, Stephanie. So do you think this is why her mom went away? Do you think that her mom left because she was afraid she was going to lose her to suicide because she had attempted? And then also, or that her mom couldn't handle what her dad was doing? Do you think it continued past the age of 11? And then the other thing was, morally speaking, do you feel like she was justified in attempting to murder him? And then we will start with Aaron, because this was your questions. I didn't come back to you unless you'd like to add input to the one that about Jade and the Lake Witch.
No, I don't, because I'm really confused. I have no idea. That was just something that came across my mind, but I don't have anything else to add to it. What was your question just now? Sorry.
So basically my questions were, now that we know for sure, because we kind of suspected that she was abused, but we didn't know for sure.
Yeah.
How do you feel like this correlates into her mom, if it does? And because they confronted her mom at the dollar store or whatever,
Yeah.
store. And then do you think that she was justified in killing her dad?
First of all, I'm really disappointed in her mom. That really confused me, because I feel like as a mother, you should protect your children. And if she just left her with her dad, why? I don't get it. I also don't get why she still wasn't truthful with the police when they asked her. Maybe she just didn't want to embarrass Jade. That all confuses me. I have no idea. I'm disappointed in her mom for not sticking up for her daughter. The second thing is, do I think that Jade was justified in killing her dad? Um, I don't know. I mean, I feel like in my heart, I want to say yeah, because that's like never excused. And I don't think that she knew any better. I feel like she's lived with this and she's kept it a secret for so long and it's ate away at her and she's ashamed of it. She's ashamed of herself for it because she even brought that up in the book a couple of times, like, I can't be the final girl because I'm not a virgin. And I felt like she was just ashamed. And I don't know. I feel like she didn't have anyone to talk to about it. She didn't know how to react to it, and it just ate away at her. So I don't blame her for what I did, what she did. But I don't think that I think it would be different if she like purposely sought him out to kill him. When I think that there could have been alternative ways to get justice. But I don't blame her for what she did. Not at all.
Do you think it went on past the age of 11? She says it just was that year, but do you feel like it went? I just don't know how he stayed in the same house with her as an alcoholic and it didn't continue. And the undertones from Rexel, even though I don't think he did anything, she says that she wouldn't kill him. He was just an idiot, basically. But do you think it continued or it stopped?
I don't know. I guess I didn't even think of it. I would assume if it happened once, it would have happened more times. I think she said at one point that she doesn't even know if he remembered doing it because he was drunk. Did she say that? But I mean, I don't know. I feel like if he did it one time, he probably has done it more times.
Interesting. Jessica, how about you?
Um, I I think that it didn't continue. Um, I cannot fathom a mother leaving their child with someone that they knew full well was abusing that child. I just, I cannot wrap my head around that. And it's not like she left for, she didn't even leave town. Um, that to me, I almost feel like her mom did her dirtier than her dad ever did. And as far as whether she was justified in killing him, absolutely. If that's what she needed to heal, then that's what she needed. And he certainly wasn't contributing anything at all, even vaguely positive to society. I mean, I think you can't blame her for taking the opportunity.
Okay. Right. How about you, Jameson? Do you have any feelings about it? Like, it's a hard topic to talk about, so just want to preface with that. But do you have any thoughts?
I think the worst thing about it is that she's going to have to live with it. Like, I don't care that he's dead, but she's going to have to live with that. And I think it's going to bother her. I so cannot fathom a mother leaving their child with that I don't think her mother's alive. I think she's imagining her. No one has ever spoken to her mother. Like, they said they went to the dollar store, like the sheriff and her teacher and Jade. But when she brought up her mother, they all looked at each other like they were confused. I think something happened to her mother. Like, I don't think she's alive. And maybe that's just me as a mother going, I would have to be dead to leave my child with the person who raped them. But I don't think she's alive.
Wow, that is that is possible. Um, yeah, you just totally blew my mind with that. Um, yeah, yeah. I didn't think about that. Udi,
I just kept like, I kept going back and like, okay, but they never said they spoke to her. Like, Jade is the one who eventually told them, like, I took the aspirin. They never said they got any information at all from her mother. No one interacted with her at graduation. Jade never interacts with her ever. Like, she talks about going into the store and stealing the stuff, but she never speaks to her. I don't think she's real.
She may not be. She may. I got goosebumps. I don't know, but I think you might be right. Udi, what do you think? So, the mom being real is a totally new, mind blown thing. But how do you feel about it if the mom is? Oh, look at that!
Oh my God, I have one of those too. Jameson, her puppy. I have one exactly like that. He's at my parents' house right now. But no, I completely and utterly agree. I was starting to get the same vibe, if the mom was real or not. Because yeah, exactly. No one has talked to her. Only Jade seems to have seen her. And it feels like she kind of dropped off after this event happened. And then she's just like in the background, and nobody seems to know her. So what happened to her? Maybe her mom really did just take off and run, or maybe her mom did die. I'm not too sure about that either. And yes, I do think she was justified in killing her dad. Um, I was like, hell yeah, good for you. About time that this happened. And I agree with that.
Wow. So we have to ask ourselves if she can make up her mom, can't she make up the Lake Witch? Stephanie, how about you?
So, oops, sorry, you guys, I fell over there. So the one thing that put me pause about her mom, she said at the end on page 386, Mama, I'm coming home. She says between pulls, her teeth chattering, shoulders twitching, hands numb, and the mom she's talking to carries a haunting knife at her belt. The mom she's talking to would kill a whole range of counselors if anybody so much as looked at her daughter wrong. So I don't know if her mom is still alive.
Wow.
That's
Guys,
that's what that's what really, when I read that, I'm like, oh shit, she might not be alive. Or maybe she has someone that she considers her mom that works at the Family Dollar or whatever. I don't know. And I think so. I don't condone murder, but he was a creep. And I think it did continue past year 11 because if he's an alcoholic, he probably just got the same way he did before. And then he took advantage of her, unfortunately. And I think even though I don't believe in killing and condoning it, I think that she was justified in it, even though it's not right, because he's a creep. And I don't know if Rexall maybe knew what was going on between her and her dad. So, there's a lot to toss around.
sure. Aaron, I see your hand is up. You've got some thoughts.
Just another little side theory, and you guys are probably like, make up your mind, you keep switching sides. But what if the Lake Witch is real and Jade can see her, but nobody else can, and Jade her mom is dead and she's seeing her mom's ghost and nobody else can.
Oh my.
Who knows? I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. That's why I like to talk to you guys.
Wow.
But
Okay. Well, um, my feedback on it is, as a real life person who went through something very similar, but at a much younger age, is Jade with my own biological father. For years, I could only remember one instance. And so I unpacked everything in therapy and like went through EMDR, and then it all came back and it had continued. Usually, typically, that's not a one instance thing, but maybe that one first time was enough for her, and that's all she can like admit to. As far as killing him goes, for me, I'd rather see him not that I think it's wrong, but I'd rather see him suffer, like without his booze and his cigarettes in a prison cell versus released with that. And then like I'm totally buying the mom's gone. And it is possible that Jade sees dead people. Like, the sixth sense. I don't know. Very, very, very interesting. So the Jessica had asked the question about, which I think is really, really important, and that's like a good segue here, is Jade has fantasized about killing her dad a lot to cope. She admits to that. As a teen or, as an adult, have you ever fantasized about killing somebody? Just because you think about it doesn't mean they're actually going to do it, but have you ever like escaped thinking about it as a relief of a parent, a classmate, a sibling, somebody that's harmed you as a coping mechanism? There's kind of a thing where they call suicide ideation, where you think about killing yourself as a release, but you don't ever plan on doing it. This would kind of be like that, type of thing. And then it was an accident when she killed him. Like she was swinging in self-defense. Oh, Jameson, elaborate a little bit more for me.
Well, like, I didn't think she did it on purpose. Like, she was going to, when she had the stake, she was going to kill him. She couldn't do it. And then in all the confusion, like when she swung the machete, she was swinging in self-defense. And then she realized it was her dad. Like, she didn't set out to kill him. He came up out of the water after Letha hit him. And she just swung because she was trying to defend herself. She didn't know when she swung the machete that it was him.
That's right. So when did she make the speech to him? Was he already dead when she?
Well, yeah, she said, because she said it was too late. Like he was already bleeding, whatever. And she just said, I trusted you. Like that was the,
Yeah.
but I didn't get the sense that she murdered him. Like this was intentional. The way I read it was this was an accident.
Aaron thought so too. Aaron brought that up too. And I think you guys are right. I think that's correct. It was unintentional, but it was something that she had considered. Like Jessica had pointed out, that's a really good point. Well, then I feel like she's innocent, but in any way, shape, or form. But let's start back with Aaron, and then you can go ahead and tell me, have you ever had an instance where this has been something that you use to cope?
I don't think that I've ever thought about killing somebody, but I have wished that somebody would die or disappear to be out of my life. I feel like that makes me a bad person to say that out loud, but yeah, there was somebody that I had a lot of trouble with, and I just wanted him to be gone. And now he is gone, like not gone from the earth, but he is gone from my life, thankfully. But at some point when I couldn't be left alone. So I would think like, I wish he would just die so I wouldn't have to deal with him anymore. I feel like, so sorry, don't judge me for saying that, but that thought has crossed my mind. Just trying to be honest.
I don't think that thoughts that we have or feelings that we have that we don't act on are necessarily, I think they're neutral. I don't think anything that hasn't happened, like here in reality, can be judged upon. I don't think you have anything to feel bad for a thought, but that's my own personal morality. And just to validate you a little bit so you don't feel so bad, is I had a very abusive person in my life, we'll just say that. And it was so bad that I would sleep with a knife under my pillow in case something were to happen. And to get to sleep at night, I didn't plan on doing this, but as a way to cope, I would start with the thought of, if they come in here, I'm going to kill them. Before I knew it, every night to fall asleep, I was having, oh my word, I was having visions, too much, visions of killing this person. Even though awake and fully with it, I never would. So what we think and what we do are two totally different things. So please don't feel bad. This is a safe space too, so no judgment. How about you, Jameson?
I don't. Ugh. I think that I thought about when someone has hurt my kids. That pushes my buttons more than when someone has hurt me. Like, I don't know why. I like, if you've abused me, or like I was assaulted, and I I can just eventually I can forgive that and just walk away from it, and just, like, okay, I'm done with that. But when someone hurt my kids, when I thought that my kids were being abused, or not abused, but there was a situation that I thought that my one of my kids was being emotionally manipulated, just kind of brainwashed, and it really bothered me so much because it was hurting them so much emotionally that I thought, if I could get away with this, would it really be better? Would it really in the long run be better for my kid? But I don't. I think what stops me is I couldn't live with myself if I actually did it. So, like, I just wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Enough with Jennifer Lopez, but there's a quote in it that is, "As a mother, you have the divine right to protect your offspring at any opportunity of harm." It is just something that is inside of you. As somebody who doesn't have children, if you look sideways at my dog,
And if their lives were in danger, I would not have hesitated. But this was more of like a black and white thing. Like, I know what you're doing to my kid and I hate it, but I don't think anyone else would have seen it as self-defense. So, um, yeah.
And Jessica, since you brought up this question, have you thought about that? Is that something that's been?
Yeah. Especially as a teenager. Um, I had lots of like disappearing, not so much like elaborate death fantasies so much about other people, but lots of like Disney disappearing people. Like, I wish my parents would get divorced a lot. Um, I wish my dad out of just away a lot. Um, I did a lot of like writing suicide notes that I didn't really ever actually mean to kill myself, but it was good to like just work it out. And I feel like it's a typical thing, especially as a teenager, because it's so interesting that as an adult, my mom has told me that she used to go to sleep at night dreaming of offing her mother. Um, Now, in her defense, her mother was an unmedicated schizophrenic who had serious anger problems. So my mom had some real valid safety issues that she was concerned about, but I feel like that sometimes just what your brain wants to do to cope is like, I need to like fantasize about what my life would be like without this horrible person in it.
Totally feel you on that. How about you, Udi? Did you ever experience? I hope you haven't, but if you have, I'd like to hear about it.
Yes, 100%. I have. I would definitely defend myself against it. If I were in Jade's position, I wouldn't have cared. I was honestly kind of on the same page as the Lake Witch, like burn them all. So like the only people she didn't touch were the children, and it's because they were innocent and pure. And I think that she, as the Lake Witch, realized that. And um, I'm with her on that. But yeah, no, I had a hard childhood. I was adopted, you know. My parents never kept that from me, but it definitely changed the way I was brought up and looked at, and the way family still to this day looks at me. And like, it's hard to fit in with that. And I understand where she's coming from. So this book really puts us perspective on a lot of things. And when her dad died, I was like, yeah, good, go for you. Like, I'm happy that it was her that did it because she was able to get that closure. And when she admitted it out loud, it was like, yes, finally, get that off of your chest. You know, you have been suppressing this for at least 6 years. And you're finally, I can't, can you imagine the relief she felt when that got off of her chest? And I, I wish that for every person that has ever been abused to be able to feel that.
Yeah, that's something. That is something. To be able to look somebody in the eye and say, I wasn't yours to hurt. You know? How about you, Stephanie?
So yeah, I have. More like wishing death on somebody, but not really fantasizing about killing them or disappearing. And there was one situation with a family member who needed defended, and I didn't care whatever I picked up and hit them with. It wouldn't have mattered if they died or not because it was an adrenaline, and it ended up working out fine. It's just, they couldn't defend themselves. So I had to step in and it got all handled. But at that point, I didn't care because I'm like, I got to protect my family. I have to protect them. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we have, I think that's a normal, healthy reaction to want to take care of the people that we love and defend them. I wanted to touch upon Aaron's question about did shooting glasses rise from the dead? Like, there's some things here with that that I wanted to unpack just a little. The teacher should have been dead. We thought he was dead, and then the guy got shot with multiple nails, like, and then she saw him with like the nails hanging out of his back. Like, I don't. Are these people like? Is she seeing them like because she sees ghosts, or like is she imagining them? Are they really there, or are they gone? Like, what's happening here? And then we'll start with Stephanie.
So I don't know if shooting glasses died or what, because how would he get those twin girls out of the boat if he was just an apparition? That was just my thought. And but I don't understand how he survived if he was shot all up and down his back with nails. So I don't this book is just really confusing.
I found that really strange because his was more concerning to me as like this can't be real versus the teacher, Mr. Holmes. Like,
Oh yeah, he
the wheelchair thing, like,
yeah.
but like he was dragging the twins, or with one of the twins and one of the kids, and like with nails, like you would think he would have bled out at some point. I don't know. I wanted to know, do you guys think that she does see dead people, or do you think that this is all going on inside of her head? Udi, what do you think?
I'm going to touch base on that because, I watch a lot of forensic shit. But like when you shoot stuff into water, it slows down. So, and then they couldn't really see him in the water. So he was kind of just spraying the nail gun when he was shooting glasses. So, yeah, he did get shot, but he could have been deep enough underwater to where the nails weren't hitting anything vital. And then I think the lake witch ended up hitting him or something. So I don't think he was quite dead yet.
Yes,
Yeah.
Cody was the cowboy boots. Yes, she has.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense that the water stopped the penetration. It halted it somehow.
Hmm.
That does, yeah. He got real lucky though. Like,
Yes,
I mean,
he
there's
did.
major, but yeah, that is
Yeah, because it could have punctured a lung. He got shot in the back. Your lungs are back there. You could have easily gotten,
Right. Or I don't know. It's just really confusing.
yeah, into the spine, paralyzed. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of good stuff back there, but I think the water might have saved him in that aspect. So I think he might have been still alive, but she might see ghosts. There is a possibility with that. I do agree with that.
Interesting. How about you, Jessica? Do you think that like Mr. Holmes in Shooting Glasses was there, or do you think that was in her head, or
So I think shooting glasses was there. And I think for the same reasons that Udi said that, the water slowed nails down. Plus, I mean, your meat can take a lot of abuse if the nails missed vital organs, the spine, etc., major blood vessels. And then two, with the nails staying in him, there's going to be minimal bleeding out from that. Because the nails would be plugging the hole. Now, as far as Mr. Holmes goes, I figured that what happened there is he was horribly injured in the crash, but she didn't stick around long enough to hear that they took him to the hospital, not away in a body bag. I just figured that she just didn't understand what was going on with Mr. Holmes, and I was so glad that we got him back, and then like we didn't get to keep him. But yeah, I figured she just didn't understand.
you're right, he wouldn't have bled out if those hadn't been removed. That's yeah. How about you, Jameson? First, I need an introduction. Can we hear about the baby? Tell me a little bit about the pet.
This is Scout. He is the world's biggest chihuahua.
Look at his little eyebrows. He's so cute. Oh, okay. Your other one has an eyebrow too. The
Yeah, she does. She's sleeping over there on the bed. She's looking at me through one eye because she's jealous. But
do you have a thing for the eyebrows, or is this just random and you got lucky?
I never really realized he had them because he's got both little markings. But yeah, it just happened accidentally.
Oh. So tell me, do you think that she can see ghosts, or do you think these people are really there?
I think she sees. I think she sees people. I think she sees dead people. Um, I'm not altogether certain that I don't know whether shooting glasses like that was a lot of chaos happening at the end of that book, and I'm like, okay, is all of this really happening? Are some of these people dead? Like it was very. I did not know when I picked this book that it was a trilogy. So I didn't know I'd have so many unanswered questions.
Right.
He wrote another book called The Only Good Indians, and I liked it, and that's why I wanted to read this one. So I do. I think she sees dead people. Um, I was real mad that we got Mr. Holmes back and then lost him like that. I'm gonna have to have a conversation with this author, but yeah, I think she just sees dead people, and it's really hard to tell the difference sometimes when you're reading that. I'm not sure.
So, speaking of the author, I got so I ended up having to work from home, and I couldn't read the book physically, so I got it on Audible toward the end. And he's at the end of the Audible series, and he gives like a explanation of some things. Really, really cool dude. You really should look. And I finally realized it's on YouTube. So you can Google it's Stephen Graham Jones, and then Thoughts on My Heart of the Chainsaw. And he kind of like gives a little bit of input on it. It will change your perspective just a little bit. So I don't want to spoil that for you though, because it was really cool to hear. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the guy that wrote it. So anyway, we would be going to Aaron. Um, and I think you kind of believe she sees dead people, right? Am I assuming that?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's basically where I'm set on now. I have no idea. I really don't, but I feel like yeah, she has to. I feel like it is right. She has to see dead people. She probably sees the lake witch. She probably sees her mom. Who else is dead or alive? I have no idea. Um, one more question I wanted to ask though, and we can go over this next, and maybe I missed it, maybe they said it. Why do you think the book is titled My Heart is a Chainsaw? What do you even think that means? I don't, I
Okay.
couldn't figure it out.
So I
Anyway,
have a little bit. I missed it too. I don't know if anybody has anybody picked up on it before I give it away. No? Okay. Because if you picked up on your own, I'd want to know how you found it. So I have a set of quotes that I love when I was listening it to on Audible. So I go into Google and I'm like, best quote from My Heart is a Chainsaw, right? I don't ever remember hearing it or reading it, but there is one that says, my heart is a chainsaw, but you're the one that starts it. So it is, Stephanie. Yeah, it's a line from the book. So I don't even know who it was said to or why it was said, but it is a quote in the book. So I will be digging for that, and I will post that in our book club. But I wanted, so we have a few things that we need to go over, and I know it's 9 o'clock, and these ones always go over a little longer. I think I've covered most of, I'm looking to make sure I've covered most of our questions. There was one, oh, I know. Okay. The last one I'd like to ask, this is a two-parter. Will you continue on with the series? And if you could put this on a scale of 1 to 5 to rate it, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst, what would you rate it? And we'll start back with Erin.
yeah, I mean, I have a lot of unanswered questions, so I might continue it. I have a couple of books on my TBR though that I want to get through before I pick it back up, but I also don't want to forget anything, so I don't know. If I could rate it a 1 through 5, um, maybe like right smack dab in the middle as a number 3, just because I have a lot of questions and seeing how they're answered will probably change my rating, but
Very cool.
who knows?
So I've already ordered the next 2 books and his other one. So he's become a new favorite author only because I like books that keep me questioning everything. I like to sort stuff out in my head on my own. And the way, although the ending was difficult for me, is why I would give it a 4.5. There was too much at the end for me. I would like to see that longer, maybe, or the book longer. But the way that he writes and the way he foreshadowed things was so eloquently done that you didn't even know it was happening until you were at the end. Like, wow, he totally, like, this was happening in chapter 1, and it's like finally, you know what I mean? Like, I thought that was so well wrote. I have a lot of respect for that. But as far as like being an easy read, it wasn't by any means. How about you, Jameson?
I love him. I'm definitely gonna finish the series. Probably like 4.5 maybe. I loved it. Took me about 3 chapters before I went back and said every single chapter is the name of a slasher movie. And I thought that that was the most clever thing. It was very cool. Every single chapter was the name of a slasher movie. And I was like, that's okay, that's clever. But it took me way too long to realize it. And then I would turn a new chapter. I'm like, yeah, he's doing it again. I just love the way he writes. I love the undercurrent of like, I don't know, the colonization of lands that don't really belong to white people, and what happens to indigenous women. And I love that. I don't always like when men write female characters, but I feel like he does it really well. So I will definitely read whatever he writes in the future.
I would be very curious to find out what happens with Jade's sexuality and identity as she grows. I'm not 100% sure she identifies as female or as a woman. And since it was from her point of view, because you never really, other than the black eyeliner that she paints on her eyes to keep herself from looking like her dad, That was the only real femininity that she. So I'm really curious to see if we get to see her grow and develop and see what happens. But yeah. How about you, Jessica?
Um, so I would say I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. Um, Mostly because I don't give anything a 5. You're gonna have to work for it. I really like the twist at the end. I really like the way that he writes. I like the fact that he is Native American, and I would like to read more of his writing. My paternal grandparents were a mixed race couple. My paternal grandmother was Native American, so that's just really interesting to me. So I also still like Jameson was saying, like the undercurrent of like colonized lands that are stolen, etc. Um, I've already been working on the second book because I had to have closure on a few things, and now I'm mad. So, um,
Oh wow. I'm very, very, very curious. Very curious. How about you, Udi? What do you would you continue with the series and then what would you rate it?
Um, I am definitely going to continue. I do like how, as you said, it trailed along, but I do wish that the ending was a little bit longer. I do feel that it was all just kind of like thrown in there. It took me a minute to process everything, but I do like how it went back to certain things that it referenced in the beginning and it kind of explained it. I really enjoyed that. I'd give it about a 4.5 as well.
Ah, yeah,
And I'm definitely continuing it because I've got the two other books up there. I hope it doesn't make me mad.
oh, I'm so curious. So he explained why he crammed all that in at the end. It was a climax, a slasher climax. So he was trying to follow the role of a slasher movie in the way that he wrote. Um, and you most people that read this is like a diehard slasher fan. So they kind of like knew were able to adapt that. How about you, Stephanie? What would you rate it? And can we have our mascot's little face in the he was our first. Yeah, there he is. Look at his teeth. I love his underbite. Okay, go ahead. Oh, he's so cute.
So I think I would give it a 4.5. And I am gonna actually get the next few books because I want it. I just have so many unanswered questions like everybody else. And I'm really hoping, Jessica, that I don't get mad too. Because I'm not really a big slasher fan, but I love the way that he writes. I love how he comes back to things in the beginning, how things start to make sense. And I agree with Billy, the foreshadowing is pretty interesting because you don't realize it at the time. Just like the candle in the house Lisa has, and then the elk catch on fire, you know, and then the whole premise of Camp Blood was there was a fire or something, right?
Yeah, and then her cigarette and her
Yeah.
yeah, her body. There's so much. It's just brilliant when you look
Yep.
back.
And then it's really neat that he portrays the female characters as powerful women too, which is really nice. And I've never read a Native American author before, so I'm really interested to see what happens with this trilogy.
Well, you're the first person that I talked to about the book, and you're the only person that I really spoke to that remained positive the entire time. Like from beginning to end, there was no frustration from you. It was, oh, I'm enjoying this. I love this book. This was the right book for me. So it was really cool that you enjoyed it so much. So the last two things are I told you about that quote. Does anybody have any quotes that really touched them on this half? I have one. I'd love to hear yours if you'd like to share. And we can start back with Stephanie if you have one. You did mention one, but I know you have another. I'm looking for my little attendance jar thing. Go ahead.
I'm trying to find my little app, the Basmo app, because I think I did put a quote in here. Oh gosh, I have to find it. Uh, Actually, I don't. I don't have a quote. The mother one struck me though. That's the biggest one that hit me. That's the biggest one because I'm just like everything just made sense. You know, she's coming home to her mom. That's what she's thinking. She's gonna die, I think. So that really hit me.
It was a good one. It was really good. That one hit me too. The bear one and protecting it. Yeah, it hit me right in the feels. How about you, Udi? Did you have any quotes that really hit you this time? Do you have
Um,
rats on you?
yes, I
Oh
do.
my gosh, they're so
I
cute.
have 5.
Oh,
They
I
wanted to
love
come
them.
out.
Oh my gosh, they're
These are my
precious.
girls.
Oh, I love their ears. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I looked up like I was gonna write something and I'm like, whoa, there's a tail.
Sorry. Uh, it's not necessarily a quote, but mainly the whole passage when she finally admits out loud that her dad abused her, and it just like that's the whole thing, right? That whole passage right there. It's not just one whole quote. It really just like hit me in the feels and my goosebumps, and it really just sounded with me.
That was some serious validation. Seriously. Um, Jessica.
I don't necessarily have any quotes, but I did want to add that the my heart is a chainsaw and you're the one that starts it is the very last line of the acknowledgments where he's talking to his wife and thanking his wife. So it's the author talking to his wife. Um, but that I really do think that like I agree with Udi and Stephanie about the quotes. Like those were really striking.
Wow. Yeah. How do I didn't get that part because I didn't read it that, but I did listen to him and he's young. And this is his ninth version of the book. His editor sent it back to him 9 times. Yeah. How about you, Jameson?
I don't know if I read too fast at the end, but that last quote where she talks about coming home to her mom was the one that stuck out with me too. But I didn't really have any this time that I was like, oh, I really like that.
Um, my favorite one is I have it here. Oh yeah, okay. To put in conclusion, sir, final girls are the vessel we keep all our hope in. Bad guys don't just die by themselves. I mean, sometimes they need help in the form of a fury running at them, her mouth open and scream, her eyes white hot, her heart forever pure. And some girls just don't know how to die. I don't know if you guys know, but there's a theme around me where everybody keeps just dropping over. And here I remain. So it hit me. I'm kind of one of those people. I've escaped death probably 5 times now. So how about you, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, other than the mama I'm coming home quote, I really didn't have anything that stuck out to me either. I don't want to like, minimize any of the like awesomeness that she portrayed this time, but I was just so overwhelmed by all of the gore, I think. That's really all I could focus on. But I still liked it. I did. I loved this part. And I am proud of her. I'm just worried about her though, because now she doesn't have anybody. She doesn't have her mom. She doesn't have her dad. She doesn't have anywhere to go. I don't know. I mean, I guess she could go home, but that's only going to last so long. She doesn't have a job. She can't pay bills. What's going to happen? I don't know. That's all I'm worried
Looking
about
at
is real life
Jessica's
stuff.
face, her eyes are going everywhere. I'm like, oh Lord, she knows, she knows. Yeah, you're right. I'm concerned for her too, very much so. Not only physically her well-being, but psychologically. I wanted to pull our attendance raffle and see who wins. I put everyone's name that was eligible in here, and then pull one out. And it is Jessica. So I will be dropping off some goodies to you. And the attendance one was if you want, it depended if you wanted it or not. It was the earrings or bracelet or necklace of your very favorite book. So you can do that, or I can send other things if you would like, whatever you would prefer. We'll discuss it in Messenger. And then finally, the last thing is if you brought your show and tell items, your favorite movie, favorite slasher book, or your top 5 rules to survive a slasher movie. And we will start with Erin.
I did not prepare well. I actually don't have any of that. I don't have a show and tell item. I didn't bring anything. I would have to say I don't really like slasher movies just because I do get sick. I get grossed out. But I guess the ones that I watched the most, I suppose, are Freddy, A Nightmare on Elm Street, just because I always thought it was really unique that he could like attack them in their sleep. And I remember watching one where they and I had to like research it because I didn't know how long you could stay awake, but your body will just start to sleep while you're awake, like go into sleep mode. So I always thought that was pretty cool. And my top 5 roles, I actually did not. I'm sorry. I was gonna write them all down while I worked, but we were so busy. But I guess it would be like be brave, have a weapon, never run upstairs because I feel like everyone runs upstairs and they get stuck. Um, don't go anywhere alone. And I guess never trust anybody either because you never know who it could be.
Yeah. They say when you go somewhere alone, never say, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
So then we will go to Jameson. So did you have a favorite movie, book, or survival techniques?
I don't have a physical copy of it, but I absolutely love Halloween is my favorite slasher movie ever in every format that it has been done. The original, I like the Rob Zombie versions. I like the new versions that they made. Like I just will watch anything with Michael Myers in it. Um, I don't know. That's my favorite. I think my favorite slasher book, if you can call it a slasher, I do. Um, doesn't really have a final girl, but Pet Cemetery is my absolute favorite slasher book. Um, I could talk about that for hours and hours, but I won't. Um, and then I think my other favorite genre of like horror is like my favorite is slashers, but then I like the like survival aspect of it. So like the people trying to survive. And so I think that some of my rules are like first of all, don't go anywhere by yourself. I don't know why people do this. It is dumb. Stop doing it. Um, don't trust people. Like you don't take the stranger to your hideout with you because that is stupid. Uh, if the kids tell you something is happening, believe them. Go like absolutely believe them. Um, do not tell random people what your plans are. Like you don't stop at a gas station and make conversation with the creepy guy who's talking to you and be like, "Oh, here's exactly where we're headed to this party." Like stop doing that. Um, the minute something weird happens, like if you see a guy wearing a mask in the woods, you go and you get in your car and you leave. You leave. That's it. Like I don't want to have to be the final girl. So I guess that last one is this is how you prevent that. But like so many times I would be like, "Oh, I saw this creepy clown mask guy wearing this thing," and then everybody dies. Like if you had just left when you saw that, like, okay, that is creepy. I'm going home. That.
So true. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Um, how about you, Udi? Do you have anything that you have a favorite book, movie, and rules?
It was actually kind of funny because I had my birthday party yesterday and I've been kind of cleaning out my parents' house and I found one of my movies. It's called Wrong Turn with what is her name is? Eliza Dushku. I used to watch this a lot when I was younger,
So
and I
cool.
liked that kind of that chasing thing, and she was the final girl. And then I do have another thing I can show my oh, thank you. Um, it was my 420th month. But my husband I usually go all rats or all animals Disney theme, but he made me name this one Ghost Face Killer.
Oh
So
my gosh, it's
this is Ghosty.
perfect.
So
Yeah.
this is my show and tell.
Oh, I love it. I
And
love
he's
it so
super
much.
shy too, so
Oh, that's so perfect. Oh, I love that so much. If it looks like you, that's great.
yeah,
So
right. He's like, you have to name that one Ghost Face Killer.
you have to. You know.
And so that's what his name is.
Oh, how cute. How about you, Stephanie?
Um, I'm not really big on slashers, but I would say my favorite ones are Saw because it's different and you don't get to see every single thing, but it's more psychological, and I like that. I like th the thriller, the thrilling aspect. Oh yeah, and then Jessica too. You forgot her. Um, let's see. Rules. I don't really have, I mean, just like what everybody said, don't trust anybody. Go in a group. Um, yeah, don't go anywhere by yourself.
Absolutely.
Don't tell anybody all of your business. That is true because you tell people and they're going to come get you. And if you see something, get away from it or report it.
Yeah. Jessica, I'm always calling on you when I'm not supposed to, and this time I forgot you, honey. Please tell me.
That's okay. So my favorite slasher movie, while I love almost all of them, my favorite is Jaws. Which I would never have categorized as a slasher until this book, but yeah, I specifically Jaws 3 is my favorite of the run of the movie, but um my favorite slasher book, I don't read a whole lot that I would necessarily consider slashers. Probably what comes the closest would be a book called Lost Souls by Poppy Z. Bright. I don't have a copy of it. I don't have, I lost all my books like 7 years ago. Um, and I don't have anything to add, like rule wise. I feel like you guys covered the rules I would have for slashers.
Well, I brought mine. My favorite is, I don't know if you guys can see it, it's Friday the 13th, the original from 1980. It's the whole reason why 13 is my favorite number. I got married on Friday the 13th. I've been obsessed with this since I was really, really little. My favorite slasher book, before I knock everything over, is Carrie from Stephen King. I love a redhead, and she's crazy like me, and a misfit, and I just love it. Have always loved it. And then as far as my rules go, I put run, leave, don't stay, get out, flee. I don't know how else to put it. Like, we're not sticking around to save anybody or figure anything out. Get in your car, get on your feet, get the hell out of there. That's how you survive. And when it comes to my adrenaline, I'm ready to run. So, and the last thing I wanted to say before I let everyone go is this is our next book picked by the fabulous Jessica. It is by Matt Haig, and it is The Midnight Library. So we will have our next meeting next week. You'll read to page 101, and we will discuss. And this one, I'm really challenging you guys. We always get really deep and really emotional in here. I don't know how we're going to do that with this. So I'm real curious, but I'm sure we will show up and show out because we always get deep. So I'm excited. Thank you all so much. This book was so much fun. Thank you, Jameson. You helped me find a new favorite author. And I will see you guys next week. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I love you all. Inboxing addresses. Jessica, I have yours, and Aaron, your thing has been sent, and we'll nominate MVP after this. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.